all you have to do really is keep pushing. I really feel like the comfort zone just is AKA the safe zone. But your life will always look the same if you stay there. So you do have to challenge yourself. Like my career, I feel like I always challenge myself. I remember when I first got the job at Hawkins, I felt like I made it in life. 3 years later, I was screaming like I need to get out of this place. So I just kept pushing. I learned my lessons and kept going. You can't stay in the comfort zone.
Welcome to Her Side of the Story. This is the podcast where sister friends tell their side of the story about relationships, lifestyle challenges, and triumph. Here are your hosts, Ray and Ash.
Hey guys, welcome back to Her Side of the Story for season 3, episode 5. We're so happy to be back. How's everyone doing? Ash, how are you doing?
Good. Happy Thursday. Happy April.
Yes. I don't know about you, but this April seems like a real refresh in life. Like it's a good month so far.
It is. It's a very good month. We had a time.
Oh, yeah.
For end of March coming into April. So I think that set it off right.
It really did.
Yeah, I came to visit you. Yes, we had a really good time. So I think that like kind of really set the tone for the April.
It did. It set the tone for quarter 2 for real. We're in quarter 2.
Yes.
So I'm excited for the next 3 months and
Me
the next
too.
3 months after that and the end of the year. It's really feeling good these days.
Yep, it is. I agree. So let's get into our today. For 2 seasons, we've talked about growth and friendship. But as this show evolves, we want to be more intentional about that behind our advice. We aren't just 2 friends talking. We're 2 professionals who live this every single.
Exactly. Well, my background is psychology, where I essentially study human behavior and the mechanisms behind why we do what we do. I look at the data behind the patterns we repeat and the literal mechanisms of how we move past them. And Ash, you're a realtor, which means you're on the front lines helping women build literal, tangible wealth.
We are a scientist and a builder, and we've realized you can't have one without the other. You can't build a legacy on a shaky mental foundation, and you can't think your way into a new life without taking the physical steps to own it.
So today we're moving past the circus. We're giving you the tools we use in our own professional lives to help you stop waiting for permission and start building with intention. Let's talk about the comfort zone and why it's actually the most dangerous place that you can stay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm super excited about this episode. So I'll jump right into our first question.
Okay, perfect.
So, Ash, we've known each other for over a decade now. I'm losing track of the years. So over a decade. What do you think made us the right 2 people to do this together, the podcast?
We have a very good understanding of one another, and we're patient with one another. We don't always agree, but we listen to one another. And I think in relationship and in business, you have to be willing to listen, and you have to be willing to understand you cannot always be the leader. I feel like because of that, it made us the right people to have this platform and speak on it. And because we've had a friendship for over a decade that really started when we were young adult women and to now in our 30s, we have really seen ourselves evolve, one another evolve, and our relationship evolve, So I feel like who not better to speak on friendship and relationship. We've been through all the things with each other. So I feel like who not better to be speaking on these topics. And our friendship is really strong. We really have always had a strong friendship, even in times of distance. The friendship has been like physical distance. The friendship has been strong, and the sisterhood is beyond a friendship, really. It's really a sisterhood, has always been strong. So I feel like because of that, we felt so inclined to share that with the world.
Yes, I love that. I agree. Like we done seen so many different versions of each other. We've lived probably 3 different lives and 3 different decades. It's just amazing to see like who we are today. And I love that for us.
Yeah.
Life is really moving in a positive trajectory for the both of us. And I love that.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so our professions are completely different. How do you think that difference actually makes the show better?
I love that our professions are different. And in the making of this podcast, we thought a lot about like the moving pieces and who would do what and what would be most beneficial for the podcast. And it wasn't just like a overnight thing. Like this was a year of planning really to get this up and going. But I really think we balance each other out because for one, you're going to know the ins and outs of the coins, how to get some wealth, and how to get a house. All these things that a woman really needs to like set herself apart and be able to self-sustain. Me, I'm going to try to look at the mind behind our decisions and kind of develop materials and alternatives to problems we may have in life. That's essentially my profession. Like, how can you mentally make things better? Whether that's breaking a habit, developing better habits, or changing essentially the way you think and rewiring your brain so that it better functions for you and what you're trying to do in life. So we just kind of were like, you know what? We got a lot to offer. We know a
Yeah.
lot about a lot. Like you've been in your profession. Actually, we've both been in our profession for over 10 years, 15-ish or somewhere around there. So we kind of experts in what we do. We play it humble, but we're experts in what we do and what we study and what we're passionate about. Also, too, even with the home aspect, like Ash won't ever mention that she does interior design as well, too. So just being well-versed in all aspects of life. The last piece on that, we deal with people. We deal with
Yeah, we
people
do.
all day long on different type of levels, under high levels of stress, under low levels of stress. And so I think we know, one, how to manage ourselves, but we know how to help people manage their emotions and their challenges in life. And I really think that's what's made this podcast so meaningful and how our professions, feed into the podcast.
I agree. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Totally agree.
What do you bring to the podcast that you don't think I could replicate?
Well, I think I would say the opposite. What do I think you bring to the podcast that I can't replicate more so than me thinking you can't replicate? I think you're very creative. I think we're both very creative, but I think you are analytically creative. So you will be the one to put the idea to the paper and be able to like build it out well. I think you're very good at that. I think that you also bring the longevity to the podcast. Like you're thinking ahead to the future. Like, okay, what in the next 3 years, 5 years does this podcast look like? Which I really appreciate. And that's something where I'm like, okay, we think about in the now, but you're like, no, let's think about the now, but how the now can help us into the future, which I love. Like I said, I love how analytically creative you are, where it's like, okay, I have this idea. I know how to execute it to make that idea come to life. I know how to take this topic and break it down and build it into something. So I think what you bring to the podcast in that way is really invaluable. It's things that I might have within me, but you definitely express them better. Yeah, that's my thought on that.
Well, I'll add. So I think you bring your resourceful skills to the podcast the most. And it makes sense because, like, we kind of talked about it in the beginning. You're a builder, and I'm like a mind, I guess. But it's things that you do that I can't do. Like all the setup with all this technology when it came to the podcast, I did none of it. It was all Ash. I did none of it. She found out how to get us our link tree, how to do our socials, how to connect us on all streaming platforms. I didn't do any of that. Yes, we could talk about the plan, but my girl's going to build it out, you know? So I think that you do that really, really well. You're resourceful, and it kind of just highlights who you are as a person as well, I think.
Thank you.
And you're going to figure it out. And if you can't figure it out initially, you're going to have some alternatives. So like it was never going to fail because
Never.
of our collaboration type. But also, I keep saying the resourcefulness. That's kind of your career. You have to find houses for your clients. You have to find funding for your clients. You have to find buildings for contractors, and you're going to get it done. And for a successful team and dynamic, you need people who have contrarian skills. It just is
absolutely.
And I would say this, like the biggest thing about success, and we talked probably about it on the previous episode, is a team. A lot of people really think you can do things on your own.
Yes.
Sure, you can. But if you have a solid team member, I'm just lucky enough to have it in a sister and a friend, you can build faster. You can build stronger. You can build wiser. So that was my little spiel.
I love that. I absolutely agree with that. Lindsay and I today went to a continuing education class on building a team. Funny enough, we're talking about building a team and how important it is. And there's a thing called a DISC assessment, which I'm sure you're privy to in psych. And like you said, it was the whole point of the DISC assessment is for you as the person who's trying to build this team to know your strengths and your weaknesses and hire people based off of what you're not the best at. Right. So like, it is so important to have someone who, yes, you both have the vision, but your skill sets are different, you know? And I totally agree with you. I think when you both, when you have a team that believes in the vision, it will never fail.
Oh, it'll never fail.
It will never fail. And that's the biggest thing is trying to, I think, sometimes convince people of your vision. And that's when if the person's fully not invested in it, that's when it's going to have crack in it and things will start to wither and everything like that. So it's so funny that we're talking about teams when today I literally went to a class about building teams. So,
I love a good full circle moment.
Yes, we really do. How do you think this podcast has changed our friendship, if any?
I don't think it changed it, but I think it made it stronger. Like, I love doing this with you.
Me too.
Like, it's made it stronger. I really enjoy our time, like planning and then doing the podcast. But like it just hyped us up. Like when we see each other, the distance has something to do with it now too. But we be so freaking excited.
Yes.
Like it's just like we forget like all our worries and we just having a good time. So I think it's from spending time doing the podcast. And honestly, like it may not seem like it on the episodes, but we learn something new about each other every episode we do.
I agree.
Like it's growing our library about one another. And I think it's made our friendship stronger. So yeah, that's my take.
I agree. I was going to say, I think it's changed it for the better. I feel like it's brought us much closer. I think it's challenged our relationship in a very positive way to show us like we can work together very well, because that's something in friendship sometimes you don't see, like, can I work with this person? Right. And it's really shown us like we work very well together. We challenge each other. We bounce ideas off each other. Like I said, we think alike a lot, but sometimes we don't. And it's like, there's a lot of aha moments like in our friendship, like, okay, I see what you're saying. I like that. That works. Okay, let's try it like this. Let's do it like that. Let's see how it goes. And I think that's just, it's so beautiful to really be building a brand with you, you know?
It's like, I'm excited for us.
Me too. I'm excited for us too.
It's just like you said a minute ago. Like if both have the vision and the capacity and the compassion, we don't see any failure. Like we don't see no end to her side of the story brand. Like we see no end to it. So I don't know. It's just an honor doing this with you. Let me not get emotional. Like, yeah, I love that we decided to do this. And I think like with any friendship duo, right? Like we were upfront about the risk too. Like
Absolutely.
I've been in business with a friend before and it didn't go well. I'll just say
Yes.
that. But so I was worried, like Ash is one of my closest friends. Not ranking my friends, but it's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
just
you
like,
same.
when this goes wrong, our friendship could go wrong with it. So
Yeah.
like that was like one of our first conversations. Like
Absolutely.
we could do this, but what's the gravity of it? Where do we
Yep.
draw the line if we feel like our friendship is going to be jeopardized? And we stay true to that. And I think that's how we got to this point 2 years in now.
Yeah.
Stay true to it.
Do it. I agree. And we've always said like if our friendship is being jeopardized, we rather shut this down and keep our friendship. So yeah, I agree.
What do you think the listener gets from the two of us together that she cannot get anywhere else?
I don't want to say our listeners can't get this anywhere else, but what I hope they get from this is true sisterhood and what that looks like. And how, like I've been saying, you can have opposing thoughts and opposing ideas, but there's still love there and respect there for one another. So I hope that that's what the viewer sees. And I hope that they implement that into their lives and want that type of sisterhood and friendship in their lives. And I think with us, we bring realness. Like we really do expose ourselves. Like we've said before, you and I are very private people naturally. So to tell some of the stories that we've told on here, whether it was from our first episodes of like me even sharing my friendship story about Jill, that a lot of people don't realize that we had that break in our friendship because we're so tight of sisters at some point, whether it's from sharing like relationship woes, whether it's from sharing family woes, we're very honest and it's not produced like this is us just talking. And I hope people take away that there is, especially as you get older, there is still hope for sisterhood in your 30s. And that being authentically you is always going to win. That's what I hope and think that we offer. Theirs may not.
So we told you a little bit like about our friendship backstory and how we got into the podcast, right? But I kind of want to switch gears a little bit about us being professional women and still deciding to add this to our lives. So when we first talked about starting a podcast, what was the real reason you said yes? Not a polished answer, the real answer.
So you had brought up logistically the podcast to me. And at the time, you were thinking about doing it with others. And I was like, okay, I support you. Yeah, I think you'll be great. I never was like, oh, it should be with me. Like that wasn't my initial thought when you were telling me this. I was like, oh, you should do it. I think you'll be great. I think you'll be very, very good. I think that I think I said it. I was like, I think you're made to have a podcast. I think you'll be great. And then things shifted. And you and I would always joke. We always have joked about this. Like if people read our text, it would be like, oh, these two people are crazy. Like we'd be cutting up in them text messages.
Real bad.
And then we were like, imagine turning our text into a podcast. And then the more we like kikied and laughed about it, we were like, hold on. Maybe that could be a real thing. And the reason I said yes was really at the time, there wasn't as much distance between us. But even though there wasn't like physical distance between us, we didn't see each other much. And for me, it was like, we talked a lot always, but we weren't like, oh, and that's typical millennials, I think. We'll talk, but we ain't going to see each other. You know, it takes 10 years to take what's out in the group chat out into the real world. And I was like, well, this will be a really fun way to just spend time with my sister friend.
Hmm.
Let's do it. Like this is a passion project. Sure.
That's exactly what you said too
Yeah.
at first.
Yes. I was like, this is just like a passion project. Like, this is going to be really just fun. And that's why I said yes. I just wanted to have like fun with my sister. Truly, I did not think anything of it. I didn't think it would, I always knew when we do something, it will be successful. So I don't want to say I didn't think it'll be as big as it is, but I didn't think the growth trajectory we're having
Yeah.
would be this way. You know what I mean? I thought this might be something we do. And then we're like, okay, we've had enough. We're done with it. And I would be okay with that. So that for me is why I say yes. It was really just to like spend more time with you and like, okay, let's kiki and keep talking the talk we talk. So talk about you.
The real reason I say yes to the podcast, or the idea came
Yeah. Well,
about.
why? Yeah. Why did that
Oh,
come
the
about for
gap.
you?
Yeah. Um, so I'm very scientific by nature. Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking about science all the time in some way. I'm always coming up with a statistic here. It's just kind of in my head.
Right.
So I was like, women really need to know about some of the science behind things. They need to know how to be financially stable, just all these deficits I was seeing in women communities. And I'm just like, oh, I know this. I was interviewing others, like Ashley said, they good at this. This could be something.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out like that. So, I mean, I still stayed to the science part, but I just was casually call Ash like I always do. We just talking and I'm telling her my dilemma. Like, I interviewed folks, but I can't say they were truly interested. Maybe they don't see the vision because the vision was given to me by God. Like it was no other. This was not from me. So even saying that while I'm interviewing others, they're like, well, how do you know it's from God? I'm like, because you think I want to do a podcast? The
Right.
people who really know me,
I'm private.
yeah, I am. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you think I want to do a podcast? But there's a need for true sisterhood. There's a need for topics that add to women's lives, especially like in the state that at least our age group is right now.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on. And if they could find some stable comfort or relatability here, like dang, they got big girl jobs and they still ain't doing this, or they still gotta figure out that too. Yeah, since we all live in the same life. So I was happy to start from that sense. Like we got stuff that we can offer to our community. And I kind of felt it was a passion project a little bit at first, but I knew quickly that it wasn't going to be like maybe 3 or 4 months in. And in full transparency, I was dragging my feet once we got started a little bit. Not too heavy, but like Ash had to really push us to the next phase, which was, okay, we need to get like our branding done. We need to get everything else that goes with it, all our systems up and running. And I'm like, dang, we really about to do this? She's like, yeah, we're going to do it. So, like I said, our skills and our personalities and our empathies, they're a lot of them are similar, but some of them are different. Like Ash is definitely going to push you into the next. Me, I like to just gallop and slide into the next. Ash is going to push you, get your ass over there. So for us, that's what happened. Like we had all these months and months of planning and 6 months of a year of inception, right? Then 6 months of silent planning and then a rollout plan. Like this was not something overnight. We didn't see other people doing the podcast like, oh, we just want one first. And for the record, we're a little under 2 years right now. And let's just say we inspired a lot of folks since we dropped. And that's been interesting to see. But yeah, that's the gap. I really wanted to bring as much knowledge to our community as possible on any given topic. That was a true vision for it. Ash, as a realtor, you sit across from women every day who are making huge life decisions. What do you hear them struggling with that you wish someone was talking about more openly?
Okay. I really thought about this question and I was like, ooh, there's so many things, but I'm going to keep it to just 3. So I feel like one of the things, especially in real estate, you're making one of the biggest purchases of your life. And I feel like people feel like they have to come, I'll say to me, and have everything figured out. Like most people have never done this before. Even people who have done it before, it might have been years ago. you're not doing it every day, so you don't remember the process, right? You kind of remember, but not really. Even if your parents or like someone you know has bought a house, their experience might be very different from your experience, all of those things. So you don't have to have it all figured out to start. Like to want to buy a house, you don't have to have it all figured out. Like some people are like, oh, I know I have to have this, I have to have that. I think it. No, you just have to want to have the want purchase a home. And I think it's my job to advise you on how to perfectly prepare for that. So that's saving more money, better timing. Sometimes the time is just not right. Making sure you're knowledgeable before you're even just going out and buying a home and exploring home ownership. So just making sure that you understand you don't have to have it all figured out to make this purchase. Like, let's sit for a moment, sit in this. Home ownership is not a game. It is very different from living in an apartment. When something breaks, you got to call your own handyman or handywoman, you know? So like, if you're not ready for that, then maybe living in a home is not for you. Maybe living in a condo is better. Maybe buying a co-op into a co-op. Like there's so many different things. And there's a lot of different home ownership types that people don't realize. So just know you don't have to have it all figured out first. Another thing too, I think people get so focused on where they're living. Like, oh, I've got to live here. But home ownership, I think to me is more about leverage, right? So it's not just a place you live, but it's a place you start to build wealth. I tell people like buying a home is your retirement plan. It's one of your retirement plans. It is one of the most accessible ways to build wealth. Okay. Because a home gives you equity, it gives you appreciation, it gives you rental potential. Okay. These are all things over time that help you leverage your life. Whether that is helping you pay for your kids' college, whether that's helping you pay for a surgery, whether that's helping you retire. Okay. Like whatever it is, home ownership is way more about just like the home. And that's something I really try to tell my clients, especially all my clients, but especially, of course, my ladies, like, especially if I know they're in a relationship where they've shared with me that, yeah, I want to be married one day to whomever it may be. Let's use this first home you're buying as leverage. You know, let's try to get it at a good price, maintain it. So one day you don't have to sell it. You could rent it out and have that money to buy the dream home with your partner. And I think too, the third thing, I think the internet and society naturally fills our minds with doubt. So the third thing I would say is you're probably more qualified than you think. There are so many avenues to home buying. Like there's so many. People are like, oh, you just have to have good credit, tons of money in the bank. No, there's grants. There are classes that you can take that just for finishing the classes, give you some type of grant. There's down payment assistance options. There's income-based grants. So you don't have to be like making tons of money to buy a house. Like I remember, may she rest in peace, one of my very good clients, Chanel, who passed, she first came to me and she said, I don't ever think I'll be able to afford a home. And she goes, it's been my dream. And it's crazy because the age she was when she passed is the age I'm turning in 2 months, 34. And she bought her home when she was 33. And I was like, why do you think that? She's like, I've just been told you gotta have this. And I said, let's get a plan in place. So 6 months, she saved, she paid down some things, got her in touch with the lender. She looked great. Good credit. Credit was in a great place. She had saved money, got her grants. Girl, we found her the home of her dreams. And she came to the table. I remember this was all she paid out of pocket was $70. $70. So it just shows like, you probably are more qualified than you think. She'd always held a job. She had a good job at the time, a blue collar career, but a career nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just showed where society can tell you one thing and that's not the truth all the time. So really talk to a professional before you just what you're qualified or not qualified for. So those are my tidbits. I know that was a long one, but I just wanted to share those thoughts with our listeners.
I always tell you when it's my time, I wouldn't call anyone else first.
Yeah.
And you tell me, you can get a house when you get ready.
Girl, you ready. Yeah. Anytime you ready, child.
I always have my little stipulations. Like,
yes. I know your stipulations.
My husband.
Yes. And that's okay.
But
that's
we'll see. Because one day I just might say, hey, get it myself.
Get it yourself and make a little investment property for you.
Well, yeah.
You have your own little coins, honey.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ray, as a psych scientist, you understand how much the stories we tell ourselves shape our lives. What story do you most want her side of the story to help women rewrite?
That's a really good question. I'm really leaning towards like the stories we tell about how we fail. People don't really understand, and failing at something is the true projection of your life. Like if you don't fail at things, you don't learn things. And yes, I use the term failure really loosely because like my mental schema is that I don't think anything is a failure. Like it might feel like a failure when you're going through it, but you have to change your mind. Like, okay, if I hadn't experienced this or I didn't do this well, how can I have learned to do that better? Or like, how can you learn from things that would appear as a failure? And if you listen to any podcast or any CEO type podcast, they'll tell you the same thing. Like the more failures, the closer you are to kicking down the door. So I think it's really important to change the way you think about not succeeding at something the first time. Like, for instance, the podcast. This is my second venture with a friend, right?
Yes.
And this is success in my mind. If we didn't make $1 from here, this would be success in my mind. Because one, my friendship grew. I learned about systems I didn't know before. I learned how to really put something in motion, public motion. This is the first thing outside of a career that is in public motion. So I think it's important for women to really shape how they define failure and look at it as a lesson into building the life that you want. Also, too, I'll add this last tidbit, like negative self-talk. I don't think people realize how that really can mess up the chemistry of your brain.
Yes.
Like, you got to pump yourself up. I don't care if nobody else do it. You have to pump yourself up. You have to talk to yourself kindly and in a high manner. If people want to call you arrogant, they want to say you full of yourself, so be it. But you program literally your mind to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Never talk about yourself negatively. Let's say you go into the gym and you didn't lift as much as you usually lift. At least you're lifting.
Yeah.
Oh, I did the best I could today. Negative self-talk, it can start off real light, but it grows and it can really like rot your thought about yourself and kind of just diminish your brain function. So just those two things. Make sure you're looking at failure in different life. It's all about reprogramming your mind. And then for the negative self-talk, it literally has effects on the brain that we can do. Like, now I have to go into the science portion. For example, if you put plants in a room and you talk to one kindly and you visit it and you water it, and the other one you talk to negative, that one will die. So you should treat yourself the same way. Like, you're not a failure. You're I don't want to cuss, but you're popping queen. Like, never forget that. So that's science backed and it's life backed.
Yes.
Been there, done that.
1000%. So as we've said, we're 2 seasons in.
Mm-hmm.
Has the reason you do the podcast changed at all?
No, I don't think so. I still want to provide women with the best real life and scientific examples of any challenges or successes. So I don't think it's changed at all.
See, for me, it has.
Okay, I'm curious.
For me, like I said, when I first started, it was just for us to kiki. And now I really care about the well-being of our listeners and uplifting people through our words and through the conversations we have and sharing, like you said, the knowledge. As before, when I was doing it, like I said, I thought it would be a passion project. So for me, it absolutely has changed. I really care about, like you said, we really care about the topics we bring to the podcast. We always have. But really sharing and opening our lives and our any guests we have on, we're very methodical when we bring on guests. We're not just like, oh, yep, you want to come on the show? Come on. We've had a lot of people reach out to us to come on the show. And some of them we've said no. Many of them we've said no. Yeah, because we just don't feel like it works with our audience sometimes. But the reason has totally changed for me, has really, really changed. And it's really rewarding, like sharing the topics we share with the world, to be honest. It really is. So for me, yeah, girl, it's changed. So we didn't start this podcast because we had everything figured out, of course. We started it because we were asking the same questions our listeners, you all are. We just decided to ask them out loud, right? Like we just were like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's open this up. So, Ray, you study human behavior, but let's get for real. What was the moment you almost quit the field you were in, and what brought you back? I'm curious about this.
This is a good question. You probably don't know my answer.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah.
Okay. So I've always been committed to psychology since I knew what I was doing at 11th grade in high school. I was like, yeah, this is going to be my profession. Maybe on another episode, I'll share like the basis of why I chose this profession, because that's a longer, deeper conversation. But once I got into it, I was stuck. Went to college and all of that. So when I graduated, and mind you, I overcame a lot of obstacles in college just to even graduate. So I graduated, and then I started working for Johns Hopkins for a few years. In my passion, child and adolescent psychiatry, families, I was working in my passion. But the cases got so dark working on a psychiatry unit. Just some of the things I saw with kids and the things that they went through and the family dynamics, and just it's patients I can remember their entire chart. It would be so traumatic. Yes, it's a great learning environment, right, for what I do, but it leaves a heavy stain. And so much so I could just see like the mental toll it was having on me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move to night shift. The kids are sleeping during night shift. Give myself a mental break. But night shift just made it worse. It just made it worse because then I felt like I wasn't given as much as I should be. Okay. So I had this, what we call cognitive dissonance about making this decision. So it was, but the one thing about the night shift crew, that's a deep crew. Like the nurses, the doctors, the techs. I was a tech. Like the conversations we had were just always about life and what's next and how to get there. And it just was always a deep conversation every night. So one evening I remember working night shift and I just didn't want to be there no more. And I literally asked God, I was like, why are you keeping here? And what lesson do you want me to learn before I'm allowed to leave here to go to my next? It was real clear. It was like, you need to get back to your passion. You need to be the passionate, empathetic person who first took the job. That's a loud instruction to me. I'm like, okay, let me be nice with the kids. Let me show them, be the best role model. Let me make sure I'm looking for every resources they need. Let me be the light that they're not seeing in their own lives, in their own life. And as soon as I made that mental shift to go back after my passion, everything went up. everything else.
Mm.
New jobs, new money, new opportunities. It's just like when you're given an instruction, you need to follow it. And you need
Yep.
biggest thing is you have to stay true to yourself. Like it was very hard working in that unit, but I was built for it. And me trying to go to night shift, me trying to avoid less responsibilities, all I was doing was taking from my next and my
Yeah.
experience, these experiences that I'll need because I work with people. I work with people. I need to be able to be flexible and empathetic
Yes.
at all times, no matter what. And it's lasted, and that was 10 years ago.
Mm.
I think I'm
That's a
kinder.
really,
I'm easier to talk to.
ooh.
It girl just
I agree. I agree.
I'm easier to talk to.
You are.
And I can be in a row with anybody. And I will never say nobody's
Yes.
low and nobody's high. I literally
No.
can deal with anyone, drug addicts, millionaires. It's a
Mm-hmm.
blessing to be comfortable in any room.
Mm-hmm. It
Sorry, that's my
is.
spill, y'all. I don't think I ever told that story out loud, but
Yeah. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
hmm Almost quit after a little stint at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Almost was
You'll
like,
do it for you, honey.
yeah. But I will say in general, my field has a lot of ups and downs. It's a super competitive field and it is heavily mental. You have to
Yes.
be a mentally strong person to last. And
Yourself. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And Ash is no stranger to this. She has a psychiatrist right in her family, close family. Like it's a lot being in this field. You
It
do it,
is.
but I will say this: most people who get into this type of work, they're usually an empathetic person. They usually want to see
Yes.
real change in people's lives. So
Mm-hmm. You are. I think you all are very empathetic people. And you do want to see change in others, which is so important in that field. So I never knew that story, Ray.
and the patience, you will learn a lot of patience too in this field. You have
Oh,
to
girl. Mhm.
patience. And I never
Mhm.
had that growing up. Can't tell now though. I'm real patient.
Mhm, you are. You really
Yeah.
are.
So real estate is about more than houses. It's about survival and legacy. What's the hardest no you ever had to give to a client that changed how you see this job?
Hmm. I don't know if it's a no, but one thing real estate has me kind of same like you is patience. I'm always I think I've always been a patient person. Like people when people meet me and really get they're like, you're so patient. You're so patient. And I think that's how I'm able to do my job. But one thing it has really, I guess, one of the hardest things I've had to come and realize in this career is when people are nasty to me, it's not personal. It's not personal. Yeah. It's this is a stressful time. No matter how like unstressful I try to make the situation for a transaction, it's still stressful for a buyer or seller because it's a life change. And we as people, even people who are like, oh, I thrive in change. Yeah, but sometimes you think you're thriving, but you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really stressed. And it might show up in little ways. And being in this industry has taught me sometimes I'll call my clients, they may not be the nicest. And I don't really take it personal. I don't know what else has gone through their day. They're stressed. They're talking to me crazy. And I just have to remind them, like, listen, I'm not your enemy. I work for you. Remember this, okay? But I also don't have to work for you. So, no, but I work for you. And I treat my clients like they're my family. A lot of my clients are my friends. A lot of my clients are going to come to my wedding. Like that's how much I care for them, how much I love them, how much they're enthralled in my life. They come to my parties, they come to my events. So I have to sometimes remind my clients, so not say no, but just remind them, like, I am your biggest advocate here in this
Mm-hmm.
transaction. I want only the best for you, only the best for you. Because someday I want you to be able to refer me someone else. I'm going to hopefully sell this house. I'm going to hopefully help you buy another house. I don't want to just be in your life for 30 days or 45 days or 60 days for the length of this transaction. I want to be in your life for a long time because I genuinely care about you. So I realized to just not take it personal. A lot of times when people are going through things, it has nothing to do with you. It has all to do with them and whatever is going on. But I just don't take it personal. I'm learning to set boundaries, even with my clients, because I am such a giver. I'll sometimes overextend myself and then be exhausted, as Ray Ray knows. And I've talked about this on the podcast before. And I'm trying not to do that anymore and set boundaries with my clients and be like, I love you, but I also need to like make time for myself. So I would say that sometimes is the biggest no for me, is just setting boundaries for myself. And that can be hard in this industry that I'm in. So what does your background in psychology show up in everyday conversations? So not just at work, but really when you're moving through the world in your day to day.
I think it comes up in all my personal relationships often. Like, I always give the disclaimer, how do you want me to answer this? Do you want me to answer this as a friend or professional, depending on what the topic is? Like, I just have to do people that courtesy, like, how deep do you want me to look into what's going on? And just depending on where that person is, some can be ready for like, okay, give me everything, give me, and then some people just need you to listen. That's something that I've had to cultivate over the years, listening versus giving them a professional opinion. And sometimes I just honestly, I let people be. Like I always think it's a funny joke when I say, oh, my background's in psychology. People are like, oh, I guess you can read my mind. I guess you can read me. I'm like, actually, I don't think you want me to read you. So I do myself the favor. I'm not reading anyone or anything past what is being shown to me because I think it's an unfair advantage. And I also think that some people just want to be listened to and some people just need regular advice. But if you ask for clinical expertise, I want to tell you all the steps you need to take. So it does come up, but I I just like to be normal outside of work. I don't really even bring it up unless I'm asked. I'm very comfortable with my career and the things I've done. So if you ask me to talk about it, I can talk about it well. But other than that, I won't give you more than you can bear, and it doesn't need to be talked about. And just for the record, psychologists have psychologists and psychiatrists. They got to see somebody too.
Yeah.
So, and I'm mostly research based now, but I started in clinical. So I know how that goes. So yeah, they're no smarter, they're no wiser, they're no more mental stable than everybody else. I will say that. So don't ever get in somebody who has this background's presence and feel like you can't have a conversation or they're judging you. They shouldn't be. Off the clock.
You're right.
So as you help people make one of the most emotional decisions of their lives, what has that taught you about people that most people never get to see?
It has taught me that people are rarely just buying a house or selling a home. Like I said, they're processing a transition, a change. So I really get to see like layers that most people don't show. So most people usually like show excitement outwardly. But a lot of what I see at times is the fear, the doubt, feeling the pressure of like, am I making the right decision? Am I like, can I do this? It's yes, the logic might start the process of like, okay, logistically, I need to buy a house. But the emotion is quickly driving the decision. I feel like it's also shown me too that identity and security for people really resides in where they live. And like what I mean by that is a home represents for a lot of people especially I'll say we as Black people, it represents stability. It represents success. It represents safety for us. I would even go as far as saying, like, for some people, it represents healing or fresh start. Like, this is a new space, you know? So when I feel like when clients are feeling like indecisive or overwhelmed about the process, it's usually not about the property itself. Like when people call me and be like, I think I made the wrong choice. I don't think I want to be under contract. I get those calls often, believe it or not. I have to sit back and be like, I don't think it's about the house. I think it's more about this step in their life. And that's not something that people get to see in real estate often. And because of that, it's just made me, I would say, as the realtor that I am, it's made me more intentional with how I show up for my client. So just not just giving people information, but understanding that I am the person who's going to hold space for them in this transaction. I am the person who's willing to guide them through something that is really big and feels really big. Like it feels it, your feeling is validated and it is a big deal. So I feel like the human side of real estate is what people don't really see, that emotion. It's so interesting how that ties into like the psych work that you do, but the emotion that this really has on people. So that would be my answer.
Yeah, I love how I was just listening, like how similar, like we don't talk
Yeah,
about our work this often, but like you have to be mental with people too. Like
very
in
yeah.
a safe
Mhm.
space, listen to them. I'm sure you didn't have clients cry. Like you
Oh,
said, they want the
yeah.
deal, then they back out the deal. That's a
Why?
lot of human emotion and a lot
Yeah.
of things
I
to
always, I always
safeguard.
tease people. I'm like, I'm your lawyer, your doctor, your psychiatrist, your babysitter, your Angie's List. Like I am like everything in a transaction. I'm your financial advisor. I'm your interior decorator. I'm your mover. Like it is managing so many people, so many emotions of someone in
Hmm.
a very short period of time. Like it is like, oh, a tornado comes through of emotion and then it's like quiet and then another one comes through. So they really do tie together very interestingly enough. And I will say like my clients really like one of my clients was like, I know you're always gonna be there. Like
Hmm.
she's an older lady, she'll call me and be like, actually, my fridge is leaking. And I'm like, okay. And she's always like, you're so calm. And she goes, oh my God, you're always just so calm. Like I'll call you and you're just like, it's okay. She's like, you give resolution. I said, yeah, because me acting upset too is not going to get us where we need to be. So
Somebody got to be the calm one.
exactly. Exactly. For our listeners, this is a reflection question. What does your profession teach you about what women actually need more right now? So just something to think about. A little thought provoking there. Oh, Ray Ray, what is one thing our brain does to keep us safe that actually keeps us small? And how do we break out of the cycle?
I immediately think about two things, like residing in your comfort zone and like
Mm,
being a perfectionist. I think that
definitely.
those two things really keep you in a cycle that you think is safe, but it's really not.
Mhm.
So we know the comfort zone. Let's just it's easy to tie it to a bad relationship. You keep having a cycle of bad relationships because, to be honest, your body and your somatic systems and your brain chemistry is wired for unsafe parameters, unsafe situations, and you don't really realize that you keep attracting these same type of situations because that's just what your body is used to. You think it's okay, but it's really not. Or if you're trying to go after something, let's say we talked about the podcast, you want a new job or something, you're like, oh, well, my pay is good here. I'm doing okay. Like the comfort zone is really the step before you take off.
Yeah.
Once you decide, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm too comfortable, I'm too content, it's time for you to make a move. because on the other side of that is like truly what you want. And
Mm-hmm.
all you have to do really is keep pushing. I really feel like the comfort zone just is AKA the safe zone. But your life will always look the same if you stay there. So you do have to challenge yourself. Like my career, I feel like I always challenge myself. I remember when I first got the job at Hawkins, I felt like I made it in life. 3 years later, I was screaming like I need to get out of this place. So I just kept pushing. I learned my lessons and kept going. You can't stay in the comfort zone. And then perfectionism. I feel like a lot of women, we deal with this really heavily and secretly these days. Like, in order to make a move on anything, we got to feel like we're 100% the best person for the job or the best person for the activity. And that can be very stifling because you could be low key underestimating yourself and what you really can do. Whereas you don't even know your peers around you. Like, why didn't you apply for this position? Why didn't you show up to this event? They would have loved you, but you're so used to like, oh, I can't turn up with hair out of place. I can't turn up without having 10 years of experience there. Meanwhile, you thinking that you're to be 100%, but men, they will do it with 40%. They got half a resume, half a coin sometimes, and they're going to show up and they're going to go after what they want. I think half a coin. I'm joking. Women, you got to kind of assume that mentality too. You can do anything. You don't need all the moving pieces. Like even with this, we built this. We didn't know we were doing it at first. You gotta, so don't think you have to be perfect to get your next, because all that time you spend trying to perfect them is nothing but missed opportunities. And we talk a tangible example. We listen to our old episodes and we listen to the ones that we do now. We like, oh yeah, we got a thing going here. Like we're so much more comfortable. It's just not, it's just natural. And if we hadn't kept at it, or we had to have everything perfect, then would it even exist?
No.
So ladies, it's okay to be a little disruptive and bold about what you want to do and your introductions and your networking. And you don't have to be perfect. No one is perfect.
No one. Nope.
No one.
God.
And yes, and nothing is perfect. No one and nothing. So work with what you got, find you a good team, and be bold. Be proud of yourself of all the things you've done so far. It's more to come.
Yes. I love that. Being proud of yourself. That's what we need to do more of in 2026. Being proud of yourself and patting yourself on the back for the accomplishments. Great girl.
Okay. And what is one thing about homeownership and building wealth that women specifically need to hear more of, would you say, Ash?
I would say there is no wrong time to own a house or build wealth through real estate for yourself. Like I get a lot of older clients who are like, oh, I know I'm old and I'm just buying my first house. That's okay. There's a stat that shows most first-time home buyers are now the age of 42 years old.
I know that's right.
That's okay. That's totally fine. The best time is when you're ready and you can maintain your home, right? So, because like I always tell people, paying the mortgage is one thing, but there's a lot of other things that come with owning a home: property taxes, homeowners insurance, which is a part of your mortgage, but home maintenance, home decor, home
the
landscaping, all the things. So I feel like sometimes there's competition with like, oh, I'm 35, I don't own a house. Like, it's okay. When you're ready to own a home, you will. There's no right or wrong age to build wealth through real estate. That's how I feel. You could be 50 buying the house for the first time. Good for you. At least you did it. You know what I mean? At least you're doing it for yourself. So I feel like more women have to hear that, because I think just sometimes from what we see from our friends, from our loved ones, from social media, it can feel like a competition. And I think sometimes people will brag and be like, oh, she ain't even got her own house. What if she don't want her own house? You don't live the same type of lifestyle you live, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, so when you're ready, you we'll buy the house. And honestly, this is another point I want to say. It's okay if you don't want to buy the house. Some people don't want to be homeowners, and that is okay. I think we guilt people into not wanting that for themselves, and everyone knows themselves better, the best. So if you feel like you don't want that for yourself, that's okay too. That's okay too. That's something I think people need to understand and hear. You don't have to go with the trends of, oh, buying a house, buying a house, buying a house. I got to buy a house. Do what is best for you. That's what I think my girlies need to hear. Do what is best for you. You are never too old to start building wealth through real estate. That's my take.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do it when you're ready.
Do it when
Do
you're
it for
ready.
yourself and be
Do it for
proud
yourself.
doing it.
Yes,
Be
exactly.
proud doing it.
Exactly.
So, guys, I know this was a longer episode. We closing right now.
Yes.
But I have to ask as we close off and then we do our product of the week, what do you want the women who find our show for the very first time to walk away feeling?
I would love for a woman who is finding our show for the first time to walk away feeling welcomed and safe. This is a safe space for all women of any race, any age, any socioeconomic demographic, any cultural background. This is a safe space. We welcome everyone. We love all. It's a space where we spread love and not hate and anger and bitterness. So that's what I would want a new viewer to walk away feeling that, wow, this is a space of love and safety. What about you, Ray?
I'm gonna be for real. I don't have much to add. You took a lot of the words out of my head. Like, I just want women who find our show to be seen.
Yes.
Like you said,
I
this is a
love
very
that.
safe space. And we love y'all. Like, these episodes are thought out with our audience in mind.
Yes.
And that's why we're so vulnerable here. And we show you
Mhm.
that life happens and how you can get through it. And I just hope that, again, like Ash said, y'all feel welcome, y'all feel safe here, and you're learning to something that can help you in the future. So yeah, I agree with everything you said. We love y'all, really.
We really do. And we're, like we always say, we're so grateful for you all because we know that you don't have to listen, but you do. And
Mhm.
we're very, very grateful for that. So please know we truly appreciate y'all. Okay, product of the month. Mine are good. Oh, I'm
I only
excited to
got
share
one.
mine.
I always become unprepared for this, but I'm getting it together. So my girl came to visit last weekend and we had a
Yeah.
time. But she
That.
also came with gifts like she usually does, just her. She's a gifter. But it was her wedding bridal party invitation to me, her official wedding. And so it was a nice basket, a beautiful love note to me, and just like all these goodies. So, mind you, when I say we had a time, y'all, we had a time so much so that our skin from the
Oh my
sun, we
God.
sunburnt, we got sun rash, we on rooftops, we did a lot.
We did a
So,
lot.
like my skin barrier was screaming after she left. And so just took my regular like prescription topicals and I looked into her gift bag to me and I'm like, let me try this skin barrier moisture and face mask by Dr. Bart. It's ceramide in it, ceramide in it. Y'all, I can't wait to link this mask. When I say I took that mask off, I had it, I did the full 20 minutes. My skin was glowing and juicy and just like it's and no bumps gone, like in 20 minutes. I said, I don't know what type of sorcery this is, but give me 10 of them. Literally, give me 10. It says that it replenishes dry skin, which I was suffering from the sun, then relieves tightness. That's what I noticed the most was like my face felt like plump and happy.
Yeah,
It's funny
moisture.
because, yes, because when I go to the esthetician, I always have to like look at her afterwards because she has to massage my face so hard because it's tense. She's like, you hold a lot of tension in your face. I'm like, girl,
Mm,
it's the resting D face, or I'm
mhm,
just really like in the zone. But
mhm.
I felt like my face had no tension when I took this mask off.
Oh, love that
So
for you.
I don't even think they know that, like in how they're describing the product. I'm like, okay, no tight face, flowy face, plump skin. Y'all, this we're gonna link this for y'all. Y'all need to buy 10 of them, put them in your cart.
Yes,
It works.
I
Thank you,
wonder if
sis.
you're welcome, sis.
Thank you.
I wonder if they're gonna be on sale at because Sephora's having their sale, and I got them from Sephora. Sephora sells that brand. I wonder if
Hmm.
they'll be on sale. So check it out there at Sephora.
Hmm. I have to go
Mhm.
to Sephora tomorrow. We can let y'all know in the comments if it's on
Mhm.
sale.
Yes,
But that thing
yes.
it was one of the best face masks I've had in a
I love
while.
it. I've used it.
Hmm.
That's why got it for you all. I love
Hmm.
it. Yeah. I love that Dr. Dart brand. That mask in particular, I'm like, ooh, you feel like replenished.
Hmm.
And that's especially after a weekend of drinking. So my items of the month, they're actually both something you would listen to. So one of them is the artist Ray, funny enough. He's the artist who went viral for the song, you know, Baby, where the hell is my husband? Yeah, that's her. So her album, Jill actually shared some songs with me from her today, and I really listened to the album. And the album is called This Music May Contain Hope, which I think is such a beautiful name for an album. And one of the songs I love on here is called Joy. It's such a beautiful song. If you have not listened to it, it is such a good song after you do your like morning prayer to put on. It's given Kirk Franklin and Mary Mary back in the 2000s type of like
Okay.
vibe. You really, I think Ray, you'll really enjoy the song. It's good.
I like Ray. She's good. I
He's
like that.
very good.
I wonder how old she is. Not that that matters, but her previous albums was definitely like getting over heartbreak, and
Yes.
it's just a natural cycle of how things go. So I'm definitely gonna check that out because
Yes.
her one of my favorite songs by her is a little toxic, and I'm like, oh, gotta change.
Yes.
Get a new song by her.
Mhm. Joy is good. Joy is a really good song. And then my other one is actually through the New York Times app. A lot of people don't know this, but you don't just have to read articles on the app. You can actually listen to them. Not all articles, but specific ones. And I usually every morning try to listen to one of the stories while I'm walking. And there is a series called The Idiot. It's a 5-part series. It's written by M. Gesson, who is an opinion columnist for the New York Times. And it is one of the juiciest stories I have ever heard in my life. And it's just to give a little context, it is about the context is M. Gesson's cousin goes to jail. And M. Gesson is kind of internally and outwardly battling with himself of like, oh, he should feel and show up for this family member who went to jail. And it really throughout the short series, like I love it so much. I'm like hoarding the episodes because I don't want it to end. So I only have one more, one more episode left. And like through it, he's battling with his family because his family has different opinions than him on his family member who went to jail. And you learn the story of why his family member's in jail. And you're like, this can't be real. This has to be a movie. But it is very much real. And it's really, really good. If you want something to kind of listen to as you're walking, working out, cleaning the house, driving, I really, really recommend The Idiot by M. Gesson through the New York Times app and really enjoying it. So those are my favorite things I'm like loving this month.
Yeah, so we hope that you enjoyed our episode, learning a little bit more about the basis of the podcast, how we got started, how long we've been friends, and our careers, and how we're normal women too. with our day to
Yes.
day jobs and activities, making everything work, shaking it up.
Get it out. We cannot wait to see you all the next one. And we hope you have an amazing April.
Yes. Bye.
Hey, guys.
If you enjoy listening to the podcast, follow us on social media at Her Side of the Story RA. And don't forget to rate the podcast and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.